Okay, we're making a video of some drawing today. Let's see how this goes. I'm not going to use the gizmo for holding the phone because I didn't find it worked very well. So I'm just hand holding the phone again. I need to hold. I need a straight edge to do these industrial lines, but I don't think I can do that. I can't put the phone down to do it. So what I'm going to try to concentrate on is just holding the damn phone centered on the image, which is always a problem. I figured since I'm doing just a drawing, since it's too hot to do anything today, it's really stinking hot. And I figured even holding on to some paints and moving around and cleaning them up, even that's too much to do today. So I'm just doing a drawing. I'm in beautiful Port Hope, next to the 401 here. This is where I used to stop at this spot. This is right across from the creek here, the Ganaraska River, I suppose, which flows into Lake Ontario. And I used to come here when I taught at TCS for 26 years. I used to come here for coffee all the time during my spares and lunch hours and such. Back when I smoked, I'd come out here and sneak a smoke. Hey, hi raccoon. There's a raccoon. What are you doing there? He looks healthy. I got one in my place that doesn't look too healthy, so that's a concern. He looks okay. So I used to come to spots like this. This is one of the last remaining spots, that little bit of wilderness in the town actually that remains. They took some other ones away. They became, I don't know what they became, industrial sites. I'm drawing in a new car today. So there's that too. I'm trying to get used to different things now. Getting used to a new way of taking video. Actually, I'm going back to an old way of taking video because the new way didn't work. A bit of rot in the concrete here that I'm referring to at the moment. And my clamp is not working so great today. I can't really move it now. Oops, I don't want to move the whole damn thing. Okay. It's so nice living in the wilderness where I don't have sound around me. I can imagine living right next to the 401 where you have this noise all the time. Although this is a better kind of noise because it's so systematic. It's almost like white noise. You can ignore it after a while. I'm drawing a little slower today. Using this fairly soft pencil, and I like using that pencil. I have a harder one here, which I'll switch to just for a bit here. I have a harder one that gives a different quality of line. You can sort of see it's harder. But I don't know if it's necessary at this point. I'm going to go back to the harder one, a softer lead. I cleaned out the car when I got the new car, so half of my materials for drawing aren't in the car. Hopefully I don't need them. I have some other pencils, I have a sharpener, I have a couple of erasers which I use sometimes to establish gray tones. Eraser is nice as a tool to take areas out and establish grays. I never smudge with my finger because that always looks picky. But you can take areas out with an eraser and establish mid-tones, interesting gray tones with an eraser. So I like keeping an eraser on hand for that reason. I don't actually erase with it. I take areas out to create an area. This pencil's nice because you can get really strong darks. Again, the nice thing about doing a drawing as opposed to a painting is it's easier for me, I think, to keep the camera, that phone, centered on the image because I'm only looking in one place. I don't have to move around so much. So there's all of that. I'm always looking for major compositional areas rather than describing with too much accuracy. I represent a bit, but mostly what I'm doing is I'm kind of designing with shape and line. Now this is going to leave me with a few technical problems here because I've got such an empty sky. I need to block in some areas, some divisions in the composition so that I can establish some space. It's a division between dark and light that really helps establish space. And if you don't have that, you get a certain kind of flatness, or you can. Never say never. Never say always. So maybe what I'll do is I'll do this, which puts me in a tricky situation because I don't have my eraser with me to take out areas to reestablish light areas. So, like that's the other thing I would really like to do is I'd like to make those hard edges really hard by using a straight edge on them. And I might do that by putting the phone down for a bit. We'll see. Let's see if I should do that. I'm going to establish some dark here on this edge. Changing things a bit. Yeah. I didn't bring my eraser with me, so that's, I would actually really like to do that now, because I would like to establish this as a good strong gray value. I suppose I could have outlined my highlights and then gone around them, but I didn't do that. That's okay, I'll leave that. Oh, this could be darkened here. At a certain point in drawing, sometimes you get, your excitement comes on board and you kind of go into automatic. And you kind of forget about everything else. I'm going to do that. I'm going to turn my phone off for a minute. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a straight edge to some of these things here, some of these lines, and assert them stronger. And then, well, let's see, can I do something else maybe a bit before? I'm going to work on the sky just a touch. I'll switch the pencil there, go to the medium hardness pencil. Just a little something in the sky to hold it together. Okay, I'm going to turn the phone off for a second and I'll be back. Okay, I did just a few things there. Some wildness happened. So to help establish this area down in the bottom, I'm going to strengthen my darks, which will make the grays more, less pronounced actually. I love hillsides. Look at that hill. What crazy wildness that just happens. I like hills, period. Maybe because I'm from Saskatchewan, where even there, hills were rarer, but you got them because we were kind of in the parkland. I was on close to the Manitoba border, so it wasn't completely flat. It wasn't like Regina, Moose Jaw flat. There was a lot of kind of variety in the landscape, but I always loved hills, and I still do. I like the mountains too. I never lived in the mountains, but I like being there. Well, I did live in the mountains for a year. I lived in Vamp for a year. Back when scholarships were still a great thing among the arts. my wife and I spent a year at the Banff Center under scholarship. 10 Young Artists from the Prairies program was called. And that was beautiful. Banff is gorgeous. Okay, so I've kind of deviated from describing that area that I'm looking at here, but that's okay. Really what I look at when I'm making the drawing is how every aspect affects every other aspect. You know, the liveliness of the lines, the shapes, evocation of the mood, if a mood starts establishing itself. I like when, like a very gentle line like I'm making now. I like how that looks next to something more solid. Next to some geography here. Put a little bit of strange little bit of architectural dark there. At least I'll make reference to it. It's just a reference. Expand that tree maybe a bit. Okay, I need to look at it. Whoa. Okay, that helped, having a darker mass in there. The thing I'm always paying attention to is when I make every line, I'm asking myself, what is the character of that line? Do you want it really strong? Do you want it medium strong? Do you want it kind of spastic? Do you want it controlled? Do you want it out of control? Because all those kinds of questions, I mean, you can change that quality of that line so easily. And when everything is seen in contrast to everything else, it's helpful to have that variety. It's helpful to have that range, so that you're not merely stuck with one thing. I'm going to stop this soon. I shouldn't have done that last thing, for example. I'm going to stop this soon. Yeah, I didn't need to put that last thing in there. This is better. Yeah, that's better. Let it seep out the edge. Okay. Okay, I'm going to call it done. And why do I call it done? Because at a certain point, I look at the piece and I appreciate what's there. I appreciate the life between the lines and the shapes. And there's a certain freedom, especially in drawing, in painting too, because of the way the colors and the expressions and the gestures come together. There's either a life or there isn't. So I have a bit of life here now, so I'm going to leave it. I'll show you a little bit of where I am. Some sort of power plant thingy there. You can walk down to the creek here. There's a lovely old building behind me which used to be an art school of sorts, actually. This is a really interesting old pioneer building. It's an old log cabin. So it's really quite lovely here. Last look at the picture and we're calling it done.